Alright everybody, how you going? Steve here, welcome back to Command Centre Wargaming. So today we're going to have a look at some of the rules of the specialist detachments within inside the Imperial Nihilus Vigilus Defiant rulebook. It's an expansion pack to 40k and it's pretty awesome. Check out the channel for the other video which goes through some more of the fluff and some of the missions and things like that. I'll go through and post a link down below to the link there, so for anyone who wants quick access to it, you can see a link to that, and check out some of our other videos there. We post Warhammer content numerous times a week, so if you're up for some more, feel free to subscribe and join us on this awesome channel. Also, Lock, get your ass to Mars, mate. You want a prize, hurry up, email me with your address. Fantastic. Aside from that, excellent everybody. All right, let's jump into this review coming right up on the channel with the specialist detachment rules. Alright, super cool everybody, so let's take a look. I'll just make sure I've got this. Yep, so here are the faction rules. This is the start of the Vigilus Defiant faction rules section. Alright, coming straight off the back of the other set, just here. Okay, so we'll just go through these. As I said, this is more of an in-depth video, whereas the other one was a review. So I'm not going to go over fluffy things like this. I'm just going to go over the rules. We're just going to have a chat about the rules, okay? So, yeah, for the fluff, check out the other video, okay? So, specialist attachments. This section introduces specialist attachments for a dozen different factions. These rules portray the many unique fighting styles of the different armies of the 41st millennium. This section also includes new data sheets for Manarius Calgar in the armor of Heracles, the Vitrix Honor Guard, and Harken Worldclaimer, Herald of the Apocalypse. If your army is Battleforged, you have access to the specialist detachment stratagems presented in this section. Okay, so the first thing we need to realize is that your army needs to be Battleforged. Okay, so all your detachments need to fit within the Battleforged criteria. Alright, a specialist detachment stratagem is a unique type of stratagem used when choosing your army. This stratagem will assign a specialist detachment keyword to certain units in that detachment and will unlock warlord traits, relics, stratagems, and psychic powers that those units can take. Okay, so it's kind of like a little bit, it's not quite on the level of 7th edition where, you know, you go through and you get like, 50 rhinos for free, or, land raiders getting, unshaken or whatever it was. So it's not quite on that level of craziness, but there are definitely some really cool perks here to take into account, people who are gonna, pay an extra command point to get these guys as a special detachment. Okay, so any detachments from your army, except from the auxiliary support detachments, can be upgraded to a specialist detachment by using the appropriate specialist detachment stratagem. A detachment from your army can only be upgraded to a specialist detachment once, and thus cannot have multiple specialist detachment stratagems applied to it, even if they affect different units in the detachment. Okay, so you can't go through and you can't have, like, you can't double up on specialist attachments. It's basically just worded in there to stop the spam. Okay, so warlord traits. If your warlord is a character and has the relevant specialist attachment keyword, you can give them a warlord trait from the appropriate section in this book instead of one from the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook or a codex. Named characters such as Samuel have associated warlord traits in their codex and must still take that warlord trait if they are your warlord. Okay, so yeah, so if a named character comes with a warlord trait, like a real sucky one, like Drago's one, like, which totally sucks unless you're playing demons. I can't remember what it was called now, but it was the one where he gets, I think it's reroll wounds or something against demons or something like that, and it's great if you're playing demons, but it just sucks if you're anyone else. But Drago is pretty tough as he is, so everyone kind of just, like, looks out of the window with it. But it's basically saying that this doesn't overwrite that. Okay, so that's basically what it is. In addition, if your army is battle forged, you can use the stratagem below. Field Commander. Use this stratagem before the battle if you use any specialist detachment stratagems when choosing your army. Choose one character from your army that has gained a keyword from the specialist detachment stratagem that is not your warlord and is not a named character. So, for example, in a Crimson Fist Liberation detachment or Imperial Fist detachment, that could be like a Primaris Lieutenant or a Primaris Captain. That's a character, but he's not named, alright? So you could go through, you can use that. You can give that character the Warlord trait of the specialist detachment they are part of. Note that this character is only regarded as your Warlord for the purpose of that Warlord trait. This stratagem can be used once for each specialist detachment stratagem you have used. Spend 1 command point each time you use it. No 2 characters in your army can have the same Warlord trait. Okay, so it's basically saying that, like, you can't have 2 guys with, like, you know, superior creation, 3-up invul, like 2 custodes with, like, you know, two 3-up invuls. Custodes don't have a detachment in this book from what I've seen, but even still, like, you know, that's just an example, you know. So you know, so okay, so that's pretty cool though. So it basically means that you can give your character you know, another Warlord trait, all right, of the specialist detachment, which is pretty cool without them being the Warlord, right? So, you know, you can literally give them, you know, the specialist detachment without them being the Warlord. You could save your Warlord, you know, for something else, okay, which is pretty epic, because there are a lot of Warlord traits that are really good. And, you know, sometimes, you know, I find I can't use them because, you know, I need to make my Warlord, you know, part of a certain detachment, and it kind of limits me. So, so I find that's pretty handy. It does cost 1 command point, but, you know, you're paying for that flexibility. It's good to have that flexibility if you really want it. So, relics. Before the battle, you may give a relic from this section to a character from your army with the relevant special detachment keyword listed instead of a relic for a codex or chapter approved. Named characters such as Grizzskull, Thraka cannot be given relics. Okay, yeah, it's clear. It's the same rules as normal Warhammer rules. Note that some relics replace one of the character's existing weapons. Where this is the case, you are playing a match play game or are otherwise using points values, you must still pay for the cost of the weapon that is being replaced. Write down any relics your character may have on your roster. Okay, so that's very interesting. So yeah, so you got to remember that when you're tallying up your army. You don't want to be caught out with that. You know, you do a list and you add a relic, and then you find out later on that you're actually underpointed because you had to pay for that weapon, even though that weapon replaced it, which is... It's, you know, whatever. Okay, it's not a big deal, but I reckon they could have, you know, got away with that. So, if you have any psychic powers in your army with the relevant specialist attachment keyword, before the battle, you can choose to replace one of their psychic powers with a psychic power from the appropriate section of this book. You cannot choose to replace the Smite psychic power. Alright, so yes, Smite stays in there, Smite stays stock standard, okay, but you can, what that's saying is that you could basically use psychic powers within this book as part of your arsenal for psychers, as long as they're part of the detachment, as long as they're part of the faction, you know, that they're in the book. Now, this book only has a couple of factions, it has a fair few, but there are some missing. I am certain, guys, that Games Workshop will come out and that they're going to friggin' release many books, okay? So, I reckon Chaos are going to get their own book, alright? I reckon Chaos are going to get their own book, like chockers full of these detachments, you know, in the 80-day coming and all this kind of stuff. And, wow, guys, I reckon there's some big stuff going on. Right down there with that Emperor's Children and Khorne's sort of demon box. They're gearing up for something big, man. This planet could be like a... Can you imagine, like, everybody going at it? Like, even to the point where it's like Chaos versus Chaos. It's like, I own Vigilus. Slanesh rocks up and Angron... Sorry, not Slanesh. Fulgrim rocks up and Angron. Literally, like, pop out. They start battling each other. They smash the crap out of the Space Marines and then just start hammering at each other. you know, and I reckon that would be some sick narrative. But anyway, back to it. So here are some examples. I won't go through those. It's pretty clear. You can read them anyway. And like I said, you really should be buying the book. You know, if you want to use this book and get into it. So you know, these are reviews. These are kind of like, you know, topper-uppers. They're not meant to be a substitute for you actually going out there and buying the book. You know, so. But that's all good, you know. I'd just like to really talk about tactics and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. So here we have Moneris Calgar's rules, the Victrix Honor Guard. I'm not going to go through those in this video because I've spoken about this in like 4 other videos. You have the rules here if you want them. You have the point costs here if you want them. Okay. Check out some of my other videos on the channel. There's many there that have the. I think there's one that even says like tactics with Harken World Bearer, World Claimer, and Moneris Calgar, and they're literally there. So, like I said, I spoke about these 2 guys. Not so much about Victrix. Sorry, not so much about Harken, but about Moneris. So I'm not going to go cut out on these guys right now. So yeah, cool. All right, moving on from there. Now that's established. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so again, Harken. I'm going to skip past. So this is about these stratagems here. That's what this video is about. All right, so cool. Again, skipping that fluff up the top. Specialist attachment. If your army is Battleforged, you can use a specialist attachment stratagem below. Use Indominus Crusaders, 1 command point. Use this stratagem when choosing your army. Pick a Space Marines detachment from your army to be an Indominus Crusaders specialist detachment. So it does say Space Marines. I didn't read. Okay, but next it says Primaris. Primaris captains, Primaris lieutenants, Primaris ancients, intercessor squads, and intercessor squads in that detachment gain Indominus Crusade keyword. Alright, so you can apply it to detachments with tactical marines in it, but it's only going to apply to your Primaris. Alright, which I think is quite interesting, but whatever. I had in mind running Primaris anyway, so I'm not really chuffed by that, but I can understand why people might be a little bit boo-booed, okay? But whatever, that's the way it is. So, the Warlord trait. If an Indominus Crusader character is your Warlord, you could give them the following Warlord trait. Great Shield. Once per battle at the start of your movement phase, if your Warlord is on the battlefield, you can choose for Indominus Crusader units in the same detachment as your Warlord to gain an additional chapter tactic as your Warlord until the start of your next turn. So, it's turn-based. It's per turn. Pick the additional chapter tactic from the following codex discipline. Yeah, Lightning Assault, Siege Masters, Righteous Zeal, Master Artisans, Shadow Masters, The Flesh is Weak. Okay, Codex Space Marines for those. So that's pretty cool. Until the start of your next turn, friendly Indominus Crusaders gain the benefit of the chapter tactic in addition to any others that already have. They are considered to have a keyword of the chapter. Okay, the chapter tactic belongs to for the purpose of resolving the chapter tactic. Alright, so until the start of the next turn, friendly Indominus Crusaders gain the benefit of the chapter tactic in addition to any others that they have. Okay, so what that's saying is that if you've already got a chapter tactic on there, you get this on top in addition, okay? Alright. They are considered to have the keyword of chapter tactic, alright, which is pretty cool. Alright, fantastic. Relics of the Indominus Crusade. If your army includes any Indominus Crusader specialist detachments, you could give one of the following relics to an Indominus Crusader character from your army. Requiem of the Gathalamor. Alright, so again, I'm not going to read the fluff, but this is the relic. So, enemy psychers must subtract 1 from the psychic tests made within 18 of the bearer. It's not bad. In addition, if the psychic power is not successfully manifested, roll a d6 on a 4-up. The psyker that attempted to manifest that psychic power suffers d3 mortal wounds. Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So, this is psyker spam there. You know, you imagine like a 1,000-sun army, or, you know, if you know you're facing like a psychic heavy army, you could definitely use that chapter tactic. And look, I don't think it's going to like win you the game. It's not going to carry the day, but it sure will come in handy in sort of, you know, whittling down. I mean, and you know, you can actually turn the your opponent into a little bit of a psychological friggin' warfare thing, where it's like they actually end up, you know, sort of afraid or think twice about using their smite or their psychic powers, which could be pretty brutal, I think. Because, you know, if I had an army and it was like a 1,000 Suns army or a Grey Knight army or something, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm going to smite, and all night, you know, out of sight on a dark night, okay? Literally, like, if I knew that literally, you know, I could cop D3 mortal wounds if I failed something, and they do fail, I would subconsciously be like always second guessing myself, which I think, you know, I wouldn't stop using it, obviously, but, you know, thinking about that would stop me from thinking about other things, you know, that I should be thinking about, or, you know, just distracting me a little bit like that, you know what I mean? Like, even though I try my very best to, you know, sort of like, you know, just move past it, just ignore it, it's still something to take in mind, you know? And it's like, oh, okay, well, no worries, you know, you miscast, you know, you might perils, and then also you suffer like D3 mortal wounds on top of it. You could like kill some psychers, like Imperial Guard ones and stuff like that. Anyway, Standard of the Ultima Founding. Now, I think I read this before a little bit in the last video, and this is a really good one. So, Primaris Ancient only. Once per battle at the start of your movement phase, the bearer can choose to plant this banner. If they do so, until the bearer next makes a move, friendly Indominus Crusader infantry models can re-roll hit rolls of a 1 and wound rolls of a 1 whilst they are within 6 of a bearer. So what it's saying is, if you got a Chapter Ancient with these guys down there, and you're like halfway up the board with them, and like say you got Primaris, you got Hellblasters or whatever, which you're probably most likely going to have, and you know, you might have them assault and you've walked them up halfway across the table, or maybe you've kept them standard. I mean, you know, guys, this one needs no explanation. It essentially means you've got a free captain and a free lieutenant sitting there in that squad for the price of a chapter banner bearer, Chapter Ancient. So you're essentially getting, like, I mean, you're not getting the 2 to wound reroll, and you're not getting the 2 to wound reroll that you get off Gilliman, but you're also looking at something like, you know, I can't remember, what was it, like 67 points or something like that, as opposed to, you know, like, yeah, it's a pretty nifty one. It's a pretty nifty one to have. And the fact is, if you know, you get these, as long as you spend that 1 command point to make the Indominus Crusaders stratagem there, you get these. Alright, so... Alright, and yeah, so that's basically it. Okay, now, that also opens the door up to these additional stratagems here. Okay, so I'm just going to move the book over a little bit just so I can read a little bit better because I'm standing over the camera. If your army includes any Indominus Crusaders special detachments, you can use command points, CPs, to use the following strategies. So these strategies look like they're universal. It doesn't say anything about being Space Marines. Oh no, it does. Of course it does. I'm a bit of an idiot, aren't I? Indominus Crusader. You have to be a Space Marine to be an Indominus Crusader. Right? So any Space Marine force that's an Indominus Crusader can use any of these stratagems. And from memory, if these are the same ones that I read in the leaks, there are some pretty hectic ones here. Okay, so let's have a look at these. And they're all very cheap too. 1 command point, 1 command point, 1 command point. Cheap as chips. Right, so Liberators. Use this stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Pick an Indominus Crusader unit from your army until the start of your next turn. Each time you roll an unmodified hit roll of a 6 for an attack made by a model of this unit, that attacks inflict 2 hits on the target instead of 1. I think that should be those attacks. That attacks. That's English stuff up there, GW. Good work, guys. Anyway, so basically that's epic. So what that's saying is if you start a study as a thing, pick an Indominus Crusader unit from your army till the end of the next turn. So it's 1 turn. Each time you roll an unmodified hit roll of a 6 on an attack. Now, it doesn't say whether it's a range attack, a shooting attack, or a melee attack. It just says an attack. So every 6 becomes 2 hits on the target instead of 1. So essentially, you're turning your attacks, like any attack really, into a Tesla weapon, where it's just splitting up. And, you know, now can you imagine like those on some hurricane bolters? You're already spinning out like, 24 shots or whatever, rapid firing for some hurricane bolters. And, and then all of a sudden, like, every 6 is another, like, another 2. So, well, it's another 1. It's another 1 hit. Those are going to add up very quick. I mean, you're going to get some hits in there, and there are a lot of other applications, obviously, that you can use these for, like intercessor weapons as well. Squad of intercessors. You're already firing at minus AP 1, right? You're just shooting away, and then all of a sudden, you're rapid firing. You got 10 intercessors. Cheap as chips now, and basically you go through and you got 10, you're rapid firing, you're within range, and then you're firing 20 shots, and you roll like 4 6s. Oh, bang! Hey, that's another 5, pens. So it's pretty cool. Another 5 hits. So definitely nothing to be sneezed at there, but it is 1 command point. So veteran intercessors. Oh my goodness, like the intercessors, like it's just like. They're just like, play intercessors, okay? Use this stratagem before the battle begins. Pick an Indominus Crusader Intercessor Squad unit from your army to be veteran intercessors. That unit gains the veteran keyword for the duration of the battle. Now, is this a turn? No, it's, so the whole battle. So if you do it in turn 1. But you have to do it before your movement phase, before the first turn. This unit gains the veteran keyword for the duration of the battle. In addition, add 1 to the attacks and leadership characteristics of that unit for the durations of the battle. So, yeah. Alright, so that's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. Adding 1 to the attacks is neat, especially, have a think about giving those, Primaris Intercessors chainswords now. I'm looking at you, Space Wolf Intercessors. But then again, I suppose, I don't think there's I think actually there is a Space Wolf one in here. Of course there is. They're there. They're smashing the Gene Stealer cult. So that's somewhere I'd look at using that one. Target sighted. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a veteran intercessors unit from your army. Okay, so you would have had to have made them veterans with that command point. So automatically you've now spent like 3 command points here. So they do add up. Because see, he's got the veteran keyword here now. Until the end of the phase, Stalker Bolt Rifles, the models in the unit are armed with gain the following ability. This weapon can target a character even if it is not the closest enemy unit. If you roll a wound roll of a 6 for this weapon, it inflicts a mortal wound in addition to its normal damage. That's horrendous. That's freaking horrendous. So it's basically like, block of intercessors. Oh yeah, they're veterans now. I've just said 3 command points. Again, shooting at Mortarion, shooting at Magnus. Yeah, I can shoot. Oh, that you can shoot at them anyway. But I mean, because they're over 9, I guess. But I'm thinking of maybe lesser commanders, like tower commanders and stuff. And it's just like, yep, you're gone. Minus AP 1 coming in through here. 6s are mortal wounds. Tough luck, guys. Forget about those invols. That is really powerful. I think it's well worth the command points spent on that one. Okay. Boltstorm. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a veteran intercessors unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, Autobot Rifles, this model that unit armed gain following. When this weapon targets an enemy unit within half its range, it automatically hits his target. Whew. Okay. I think it's good. I think it's powerful. But I don't think it's quite as powerful as that top one. I think it's pretty brutal though. Especially, it's a little bit circumstantial. So it's kind of like, if your warlords are dead, if your lieutenant's dead, if he's if he's picked off your lieutenant or your captain or something like that, you know, I think that it's definitely possible. You know, this stratagem is handy to have. But yeah, I'm still liking that target sighted. I will literally be like 10 intercessors with Stalker bolt rifles, start of the game, turn 1, 36 across, you know, shooting those guys across, you know, and here you go, oh yeah, by the way, I'm just targeting your Farseer, yeah, thanks guys, nice. Or your Dark Eldar, you know, enemy HQ there. Oh, what, she's got an invul, does she? Yeah, no worries. 6 of mortal wounds. She's got, what, how many wounds? Oh, gee, look, I just, out of 10, I just rolled like 3 6s. That's 3 wounds, and you know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's pretty massive. So, rapid fire. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a veteran intercessors unit from the unit. Till the end of the phase, Autobot Rifles models that unit are armed with. Change their type to rapid fire 2. Alright, so does that mean they get 4 shots? No. Yeah. So that means you're essentially turning your bolt rifles into your intercessor bolt rifles into storm bolters. Wow. And can you imagine using all these together? It doesn't say anything about these not stacking. It says nothing about these not stacking. So you could literally rock up and be like, okay, cool. I'm just reading this here. Okay, bolt rifles. Bolt rifles, so they stack. So you could be rocking up with your intercessors, right? Making mortal wounds on a friggin' on a 6, right? And shooting characters, and if you're close enough, firing rapid fire too. So it's 4 shots per model. That's out of a squad of 10 intercessors. That is now 40 shots. Now 40 shots. How many 6s are you gonna roll? How many 6s are you gonna roll? Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure you're gonna get at least 5 6s out of 40 dice. Okay, so that actually makes it worthwhile now. Chucking those intercessors up in a repulsor and like thrusting them up the board with like friggin' Calgar in there and literally just popping out and just jamming, right? So, yeah. So that's definitely an incentive to take them up. Very, very, very powerful stratagems there. Very, very powerful stratagems. I'm liking it a lot. I'm liking it a lot. And it's really bringing, you know, they're really bringing intercessors into the fore. And I think it's well needed as well. So cool. Okay, Victrix Guards. So the specialist detachment. This is Ultramarines. If your army is Battleforged, you can use a specialist detachment stratagem below. Victrix Guard. Use this stratagem when choosing your army. Pick an Ultramarines detachment from your army to be Victrix Guard specialist detachment. Captain Ancients Honor Guard, Victrix Honor Guards, Vanguard Veteran Squads, and Stern Guard Veteran Squads. In that detachment, gain the Victrix Guard keyword. Right, so you can use other models, not just these Victrix Guard models. You know, but again, there was a bit of a debate about that on the channel a couple of weeks ago. There was someone on there, basically, whatever. And but I still maintain that using these guys, like the actual sort of Victrix guys, having them with 3 wounds with an apocryphy round is a little bit better. Because you can easily, it's a lot easier to clear out veterans than what it is to clear out those Victrix Guards. But alright, it can be done. Warlord trait. If a Victrix Guard captain is your Warlord, you can give them the following trait. Right, so you can actually make Victrix Guard your Warlord. That's very interesting. Not that you would though, because they're pretty weak. It's 3 wounds. Can you imagine that? Slay the Warlord on that. Anyway. Warden of Ultramar. Okay, once per battle in the fight phase, you can re-roll wound rolls for attacks made for this friendly Victrix Guard within 6 of this Warlord. That's pretty cool. So you're getting a wound roll, you know, there for them. Re-roll. But again, I don't know. He's a pretty flimsy Warlord. I mean, I definitely feel as though you'd play him. I know a lot of people are saying they wouldn't go there. But, you know, I think that, you know, personally, I think, yeah, I wouldn't have him as a Warlord. Yeah. So, guys, remember, if you disagree with anything, if I'm missing anything here, I'm just really going through this book the first time, just sort of reading things out, okay? So, if there's anything's missed or if anything you want to add, please let me know in the comments down below. Or if you can think of any mad combinations or anything like that, let me know in the comments down below, okay? I'm always looking for feedback, guys. Like I said, I'm here just narrating things. I'm not coming in making, like, you know, I'm not being a bush lawyer or anything, or, you know, it's basically telling people how to play or, you know, what to do. We're just having theoretical, tactical discussions, you know, so it's all good. Okay, so stratagems. Fight like demigods. So again, you know, if you're a strategic detachment, blah, 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 you get to do this. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Pick a Vigilus Guard unit from your army within 6 of a friendly Vigilus Guard captain. Add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by this unit at the end of that phase. That's pretty cool. Okay, they've already got like 4 attacks as it is, I think, from memory. So, you know, having 2 of them, that's 10 attacks minus AP 3. Or was it AP 4? Let me just check. I can just flick back here for a second. Minus AP 3, yeah. So they go up to, a pair of them will go up to 10 attacks. I'm sorry, but that's way epic. You think about that, you know, like you add the points up for your veterans. You know, just having 2 of them in there, you can literally get just as many attacks and all that kind of stuff. So that's a debate, that's an argument I like to make, but you know, I might be wrong, I don't know. Okay. So first strike for Ultimar. Now this is 3 command points. So this hopefully is going to be a pretty damn good one. It better be. Use this stratagem at the end of your opponent's charge phase. Pick a Vigilus Guard unit from your army that was in the charge phase or that performed a heroic intervention of this phase. That unit can immediately pile in and fight as if it were the fight phase. Doing so does not prevent the unit from being picked to do fight in phase. Okay, so basically it's attack again. So it's attack first, sorry, which is really cool. So you get charged or they get charged, you could jump in and attack. Expensive, but circumstantially well worth it. If you're in that situation where you're getting, you know, you're about to get hammered by some Khorne berserkers or, you know, some crazy hand-to-hand crap, and you want to, you know, you don't want to lose your stuff, so you're gonna get a chance to play that one. Yeah, also handy if you're a Vigilus Guard and you're getting hammered and, you know, you want to attack first. Oh, hey, here you go. Yeah, no worries. I'm just going to heroically intervene and I'm going to stack it with my other stratagem and +1 to attack roll. Here my 10 attacks back. Bye-bye. So, it's pretty good. Relics of Ultramar. Okay, Relics. We all know how Relics work. I'm not going to read through that. You can replace your Power Sword with this one for Ultramarines. Strength +1, minus AP 4, 2 damage. Not bad. You can give that to a Vigilus Guard if you wanted, if you so deemed. And the standard of McCraig. Ancient only. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic to friendly Ultramarines unit whilst they are within 12 of the bearer. In addition, add 1 to the attacks characteristics of friendly Vigilus Guards. Boom. So there's another 2 attacks for 2 of them. So you got these guys with the stratagem. They go from 8 attacks to 10 attacks and then to 12 attacks. And their leadership, who cares about the leadership? But because there's only 2 models in that squad anyway, they're elites. So yeah, it's a very, very small army. So, but like, you know, still it's a good bonus to have. But the main thing, you know, you're going to get your attacks going on, and you know, you couple that up with the other, you know, ability with the rerolls with the banner bearer. So I'd even run a banner bearer with these guys. Have 2 of these guys, Calgar, sort of like synergy here is really good. Alright, so we're going to get into the Imperial Fist now. So it should be good. Alright everybody, so just reset the shot there because I don't want it this camera's pretty epic, but I get like maximum 20-minute record times and then it just flips itself. And I got like battery packs plugged into this thing like it's on life support. But anyway, all good. So, Imperial Fists, Siegebreaker Cohort. So, Specialist Attachment, usual crap here, but this is for Imperial Fists. Alright, some good ones here. 1 command point. Use a stratagem when choosing your army. Pick an Imperial Fist detachment from your army to be a Siegebreaker cohort specialist detachment. Captains, Centurions, Dreadnoughts, and Vindicators in that detachment gain the Siegebreaker cohort. Centurions also come down half price now, so I want to see if we've got some incentive to have so Imperial Fist Centurions. Stratagems. You need the Siegebreaker cohort, so you need to pay the command point. 1 command point. Use a stratagem after a building has been destroyed by an attack made by a Siegebreaker cohort unit from your unit. Roll 2d6 instead of 1 for each model that has disembarked in that building. For each roll of a 1, a model that disembarked of the controlling player's choice is slain. It's not bad. It's pretty circumstantial, but it's very fluffy. You know, it basically says, like, you know, the rubble comes down around them, then more people die. Very handy, especially if you know you got buildings, especially if you know you got like a lot of terrain and everything. It's a very handy one indeed. Seismic Devastation. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase or fight phase. Pick a Siegebreaker cohort unit from your army. Each time you roll a wound of a 6+ for an attack made by this unit that targets an enemy vehicle or building, in that phase, that attack inflicts a mortal wound in addition to its normal damage. So it's very similar to that Ultramarine one. Very nice stratagem. I'm liking this. Warlord trait. So the Warlord trait is Indomitable. If your Warlord did not move in the movement phase of his turn, friendly Imperial Fist units within 6 of your Warlord automatically pass morale tests and receive the benefit to their saving throws for being in cover, even while they are not wholly on or within a terrain feature. Alright, that's pretty decent. That's actually pretty decent indeed. So you're essentially bringing your Marines up within 6. If they decide to, you know, park their asses in cover, then you're getting a 2-up. Your Marines are going to a 2-up plus. Okay, so that's pretty cool. But it does say here, benefit to their saving throws. So the way that's written, I mean, I doubt that would include invulnerables, but the way that's written, saving throws, could be interpreted that you go, you know, you get a 2-up. So Storm Shields going up to 2-up invols, I don't know. I have to fact check that one. I don't think that's going to stack. If it is, it's yeah. So Relics of the Phalanx. Again, must be Siegebreaker cohorted. The following relic. Reroll wound rolls of a 1 for shooting attacks made by friendly Siegebreaker cohort units of 6 or bearer. Pretty decent. Alright, so all in all, pretty decent. Okay, pretty decent extra rules for the Imperial Fists. Now, here we have the Crimson Fists. So these are some cool ones as well. So, you know, but who cares? Like, all these are really just bonuses. I mean, you look at these alone. Just with these, I'm happy to just go play Primaris just with those. Like, the rest is just like the cherry on the cake, you know. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, bonus. I might, you know, cause another mortal wound or something like that, you know. Heroes of the Wrens. Okay, so go up here. So it must be in the specialist detachment. 1 command point. Use this stratagem. This is Liberator Strike Force. Use this stratagem when choosing your army. Pick a Crimson Fist detachment from your army to be Crimson Fist Liberator Strike Force Specialist Detachment. Primaris, yada yada, Interceptor, Reavers, la la la. Hellblasters, interestingly enough. No Hellblasters here, so there's actually different Primaris for different things, which is really cool, I think. Alright, so very interesting. Okay, stratagems. Heroes of the Rhine's World. So use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a Liberator Strike Force unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, each time you roll an unmodified hit roll of a 6 for an attack made by that unit's ranged weapons, that attack inflicts 2 hits instead of 1. So it's the same thing as before. Right? It's the same kind of stuff as before there. Very nice, but it's 2 hits instead of 1. Paragons of Dawn. 1 command point. Use this stratagem at the end of the enemy shooting phase. Pick a Liberator Strike Force unit from your army that is targeted by one or more in attack phase. This unit can immediately shoot as if it were your shooting phase. Now, this is epic. This is basically like another... It's a free... Not a free. You got to pay 1 command point to it, or 2 if you include that. But it's a set... Or 3 if you include, you know, making them Indominus Crusaders. But essentially, it's an Ausspec scan stratagem, but without the -1 to hit, which is pretty brutal. Because it basically means... And it can be done in their turn. So if someone shoots at you, they're in range, and they're just like, oh, you know what, I'm going to shoot you. It's like, oh, guess what? Yep, that's great. Well, before you do that, I'm going to shoot you first. 1 command point. No -1 to hit bullshit, okay? Just, like, pure shots. Pure West. Alright? Pure West. Let's get this other light here. See if one of the batteries has run out, so... Let's get this one here. It's going to be a long video, this one, guys, but a good one. Alright, so cool for those who stick with me in this one. Alright. So, yeah, give me a shout out in the comments if you stuck through it, okay? So, let me know you got to the end. Awesome. So, the Warlord Trait Expert Instructor, reroll hit rolls of a 1 for friendly Liberator Strike Force units within 9 of your Warlord. Now, that could come in handy quite substantially. I've been in many situations a lot of times where I've had things like, you know, vehicles benefiting from rerolls, dreadnoughts benefiting from rerolls. I've had them in kind of like my Gilliman castle up lists. And then, so what's happened is I'm like, oh yeah, this is boss. And then like, all of a sudden, like one of those units goes Nova because like they've been destroyed. And then, oh yeah, explosion. On a 6 it explodes. You know, I've used my command point, so re-roll, so I can't re-roll it. And then, boom, there it goes. There's like all of a sudden, my army within 6, you know, my Gilliman, my commanders, they all start hammering out mortal wounds. It's just like, oh, holy crap, you know. So, as long as it's not like a, you know, as long as it's a 6 explosion, which I don't think there's really anything aside from maybe a super heavy or something that's going to explode more than a 6. You're going to be pretty safe from collateral damage. So that's actually a very handy one to have, especially if you want to start like mixing in like vehicles in your cohort there. I'm thinking like dreads and stuff like that. Okay, like those Redemptors are looking pretty sweet. Or maybe some Leviathans would be cool. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. Like, you know, anyway. So, I'll do a Crimson Fist, you know, Liberation Force tactical video later at some point. All good. So, the Vengeful Arbitrator. So, this is their relic. It looks like it's a pistol. It's not bad. Range 12. Pistol 2. Strength 5. Made 2 people damage. Abilities, each time an attack made with this weapon hits, you can immediately make 1 additional hit roll against the target using the same weapon. These bonus hit rolls cannot themselves generate further hits. It's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay, so cool. Now, the good old boys, the Black Templars. I've got a feeling there's going to be a box set coming out for these guys very soon. Alright. Black Templars, Sword of the Brethren. So, again, the same crap. They need to be in the Warlord detachment. Alright. Sword of Brethren. Use a stratagem when choosing your army. Pick a Black Templars attachment from your army. La la la. So, High Marshal, Helbert, Emperor's Champion, Captain's Company Champions, Company Veterans, Sword Brethren. They're the units that are affected by this. So, I think this is geared up to be like more of a close combat sort of army. I really wish they released a box set with these guys. It's like Gilliman's backpack, by the way. So with those wings and that sort of like halo, Iron Halo. It's good, I finally got it right, Iron Halo. Anyone who's watching my videos knows that I keep calling it a bloody Rosarius or whatever, which is a stick that the chaplain has. But anyway, so cool. So their Warlord trait, Master Swordsman. Add 1 to the Warlord's attacks characteristics. In addition, each time you roll in an unmodified hit roll is 6 for an attack made by your Warlord at the fight phase. That inflicts 2 hits instead of 1. Always welcome in a close combat army, that's for sure. So the stratagems. Uphold the honor of the Emperor. Use a stratagem at the start of your fight phase. Pick a Sword Brethren unit from your army until the end of the fight phase on a D6. Each time a model that has that unit loses a wound. On a 5-up, that model does not lose a wound. So you get a 5-up, feel no pain, which is very cool. Very cool. Can you imagine? Oh yeah, that is pretty sweet. So essentially they're becoming Black Rage or whatever. So suffer not the unclean to live. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Pick a sword brethren from your army. Add 1 to the attacks characteristics of models. In addition, you can reroll wound rolls. That's brutal too. 2 command points. Rerolling wounds, adding 1 to the attacks. That's brutal. These Black Templars are brutal. These guys get in your face. Can you imagine again, once again, you know, you got a Land Raider Redeemer rocking up, or a Crusader, coming in, laying down some pattern fire with its hurricane bolters, you know, burning the arse off them with some like heavy flamers, and then literally you know, 10 of these boys or 11 of these boys with a captain or something rock out. You know, stratagems pop up and they just start smashing stuff. You know, just normal Marines. You could make them, you know, interesting that they're not Primaris. They're actually normal Marines here. Alright, company veterans. Alright, so, yeah. So, cool. Relics, the Holy Orb. So this is basically just like the Eldar sort of bomb. Once per battle in your shooting phase, you could choose for the bearer to throw the Holy Orb instead of making normal shooting attacks. If you do so, pick a visible enemy unit within 6 of the bearer and roll a d6 for every 10 models in that unit, rounding up. For each roll of a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Pretty nice. Not going to complain there. Okay. Alright, Raven Wing Attack Squad. So this is a Dark Angels one. Usual crap, must be part of the Specialist Detachment. You must pay 1 command point in addition. It affects Dark Angels, Raven Wing units, and Attack Squadron keyword units. So pretty much like their land speeders, their bikes, their dark shrouds, stuff like that. Swift Strike, so 2 command points. Use a stratagem in the fight phase after the Attack Squadron unit from that army has fought. That unit can immediately make a move and advance as if it were your movement phase if there are any enemies within 1 of that instead. Oh, I guess that's alright. Yeah, okay. 1 command point, signal the attack. Use a stratagem after attack squadron unit from your army has attacked the enemy unit for the shooting phase, and add attack result to the enemies using lose 1 wounded wounds. Add 1 to the hit rolls for any attacks made by attack squadron units from the army, and attack the same. Okay, so that's again just adding attacks there. 1 command point. It's a good one. Okay, I think, you know, even this one's a good one too. So basically, this one allows you to move again. So it's like a second move after attack by the looks of it. So it's actually really good. It's actually, I take that back. That's actually pretty super. That's pretty brutal actually. Sorry, it didn't quite sink in with me how good that one actually was before I read it. Time to pull out my my Deathwing. So or my, what do you call them? Raven Wing. The Relic, the Monster Slayer of Caliban. Power Sword only model. Replace the Power Sword. Strength +2, minus AP3, D3 damage. Very nice. Add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks. Very nice. Very, very, very nice Relic. Very nice Relic indeed. D3 damage. AP -3. Strength +2. Adding 1 to wound. Anything with +1 to wound is epic. So you're already going to be wounding most things on like 3s and 4s. You're adding, yeah. So, very, very nice. Okay, geez, there's some freaking nice flavour in this book, I can tell. And I'm pretty sure you could go through and you can play these with your normal Warhammer rules as well. So, it's pretty cool. So, oh, geez, there's a lot to go through, isn't there? It's a huge video. I might have to split this up, guys, actually. So, I might just do the Space Marines today, and then I'll have a look at doing some of the other ones on request later. See if people are after it. It's getting quite large. So Space Marine Stalker packs. So this is Wolves. Same thing. Must be, you know, the Specialist Attachment. This includes Battle Leaders, Blood Claws, Reavers, Stalker pack. Yeah, I don't really like Reavers that much, but whatever. So 2 command points, blood sent. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. Pick an enemy infantry or monster unit that suffered any casualties or has any models in it with less than their starting number of wounds. Add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made by Stalker Pack units from their army that target the enemy unit until the end of the phase. That's pretty good. Again, you're adding wound rolls as well. Pack killers. So use a stratagem after Stalker Pack unit makes a change. Charge move. Pick another friendly Stalker Pack unit within 12 of the unit that charge. Until the end of the phase, you can reroll 3d6 when making charge moves within that unit. Discard the dice for the lowest score. Epic. So that's another really good one, helping those boys get in there into combat, right? It's pretty powerful. Warlord trait, it's a saga, so add 1 of the Warlord's attacks. Welcome. And they can charge and move in the same turn. D to Legend, enemy models lose at least 5 wounds as a result of attacks made by your Warlord's melee weapons in a single phase. Okay, so that's how you get your saga. You have to strip, 5 wounds off a single model to have that active. Yeah, alright. Again, like, the thing is in the sagas, it's like, yeah, they're really good, but you kind of got to get them there. And I kind of feel as well, like, with a lot of the sagas, you can do a little bit more harm than good than, and get your guy killed, sort of trying to get them off. So, it's the kind of thing to remember, like, if you get it off, but, yeah, I don't know. It's I think the Space Wolves to me are a little bit weaker than the others, but we'll see what's going on. I was a bit disappointed in their codex as well. I went out and bought like a massive army for the Space Wolves. I'm really expecting them to be pretty epic, and they were good, but I just feel as though they could have used a lot more love. So Power Axe models. This is the Relics. Strength +1, AP -2, D3 wounds. Very good. If the wound roll for an attack made by this weapon is an unmodified 6, the target model suffers D3 mortal wounds instead of normal damage. Very nice addition. And like that's the thing, it's just good to see the guys in here. It doesn't matter if their rules are spectacular or not, right? It's just really good to see that the Space Wolves have gotten some love in this book. So it's pretty cool. Alright, so rolling on, just checking my battery, guys. We're down to 1 mag, so we still got a fair bit of time to go. So I don't know how long the light's going to hold out for, but we should still have the room light. So I might try to get these done in the whole video. Okay, so take it like a man guardsman for the Emperor. I'm gonna get this done. So try to get everyone done, or maybe just at least the Imperium and the Eldar. I don't know. I think we could do it. I'm just going to speed it up just a little bit. Okay. I'm not really an Orc player, I'm not an Eldar player, so there's only so much input I can give on those strategies, so I'll leave them to you, but I do believe in giving everyone the love, so I'll just go through it. Please, comments down below, guys, help out, let people know how these combos can be epic, okay? We'd really love it if you do that. Usual things, Specialist Attachment, apply, this is for Cybernetica Cohort. This includes Adeptus Mechanicus, Tech Priests, Dominus Engineers, Cybernetica Data Smiths, Calastian Robots, Cybernetica Cohorts. We got 2 stratagems, both 1 command point each. First one, use this stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Pick a unit of Cybernetica Cohort, Castalian Robots from your army. Within 3 of a friendly Cybernetica Cohort, Cybernetica Data Smith. Add 3 to the charge rolls made for the Castalian Robots. That's pretty good. For 1 command point, okay, you're adding, definitely that could get you in there a lot faster. Strafing Fire Run. Use a stratagem for the start of your moving phase. Pick a unit of Cybernetica Cohort Castalian Robots from your army that has the Aegis Protocol effect. Until the end of the turn, treat heavy weapons that unit is armed with as assault weapons for all rules purposes. Pretty nice. Not crazy, but pretty nice. But I mean, look, AdMech did come down a lot of points, so, it's all good. I feel as though, again, this is a little bit weaker. It's like they're getting a little bit weaker as we go along. But, again, I'm not an AdMech player. So, AdMech players, let me know what you think, okay? Warlord trait. So, once per battle, when your Warlord uses a Master of Machine's ability to repair a friendly unit of Cybernetica Cohort Castalian Robots, that unit regains D6 lost wounds instead of D3. That's pretty big. So, you can literally just come back 6 wounds up. So, GW really want to be selling Castalian Robots. Okay, Arcanium Mechanicum. Doctrina Feralis Servo Skull. Friendly units of the Cybernetica cohort, Castanian Rovers, can attempt to change their battle protocols at the start of each of your movement phase if they are within 9 of the bearer. Cool, very good. Okay, so sounds good to me. All right. Servitor Manipal. Specialist Detachment. So once again, this is another set of rules for Mechanicus. So they actually got 2 flavors of specialist detachments. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. So it's pretty much saying that you know, they're not really, yeah, they might not be as strong as like the other ones, but you know, you've got more variety, and I really like that. I really like that. I like that balance. I like that game design. So this affects Tech Priest, Dominus Engineers, Catrafon Breaches, Catrafon Destroyers, Servitors, Servitor Manipiles. Stratagems. Use a stratagem before the battle begins. Pick a unit of Servitor Manipile Catrafon Breaches or Servitor Manipile Catrafon Destroyers from your army. That unit has a 5-up invulnerable save. Wow, for 1 command point. Wow, that is freaking good. And compared to these other ones, that is freaking good. Non-Spirit Mind Lock. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick a unit of the Servitor Manipal Catrafon Breaches, Servitor Manipal. Okay, just sorry guys. Within 6 of a friendly Servitor Manipal Tech Priest Dominus. Add 1 of the hit rolls for attacks made by the unit. It's pretty good too. Warlord trait. Oh, geez, I'm going to have to read all these again. At the end of the movement phase, you could pick a unit of Servitors from your army within 6 of your Warlord, and a unit of Catrafon Breaches or Catrafon Destroyers from your army within 6 of your Warlord. 1 model from that unit of Servitors immediately slain. So you got to kill one off. A model in that unit of Catrafon Breaches or Catrafon Destroyers then regains D3 lost wounds. Or if there is no wounded models in the unit, and any models in the unit have been slain, you can return 1 slain model to the unit with 1 wound remaining. This wound is set up in unit coherency and cannot be within 1 of any other models. If it is not possible to place this model, it is not returned to the unit or put on the battlefield. So standard rule for that kind of stuff. So it essentially becomes an apocryphy, okay? By sacrificing, so he's like a commissar apocryphy. It's like, I'm going to kill you to like give your awesome juice to everybody else, okay? Your life essence. Very cool. So Genicol Corruptus or Corpus, model with Omniscian Axe. So you replace its strength +1, AP -2, 2 damage, pretty good. Abilities: if the wound roll for an attack made by this weapon is an unmodified 6, the target model suffers D3 mortal wounds instead of, whoa, that's powerful, instead of its normal damage. Oh boy. Okay, that's some pretty epic stuff. Alright. So they got it. They got it going on. Okay, Anointed Throng. I'm not going to make that joke. Simply because I don't have the time. If I had more time, I'd be like, you know, making heaps of dirty jokes about this. But anyway, I always did think they kind of looked a bit sus, those Games Workshop, little bit perverted, those Gene Stealer cults. But anyway, let's move on. Same crap, they must be part of the special detachment. So, Anointed Throng. Use this stratagem when choosing your army. Pick a Gene Stealer cult attachment from your army to be Anointed Throng Specialist Attachment. Abominance and Aberrants in the detachment gain the Anointed Throng keyword. I can't read this without remaining serious, okay? But I'm going to try, okay? Devotion till death. Use the strategy at the start of the fight phase. Pick an Anointed Throng adherent unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, when a model from the unit is slain, that model is not removed from the battlefield as normal, but can instead immediately pile in and fight even if it has already been chosen to fight in the fight phase. After its attacks have been resolved, it is then removed from the battlefield. Okay, pretty cool. Fight for the Anointed one. Use a stratagem to the start of your fight phase. Pick an Immortal Throng adherent. It's within 6 of Anointed Throng and Abominant. Reroll rune rolls of 1. Attacks are pretty awesome. Anything rerolling with 1 is awesome. The Warlord trait, add 1 to the charge rolls of your Warlord and friendly Anointed Throng units within 6 of your Warlord. Nice bonus. Okay, they're already moving pretty fast as it is. For infantry, Blessed Sledgehammer. This is going to be good. So this replaces the Blessed Sledgehammer, replaces the Bearer's Power Sledgehammer, and has the following profile. These things were already huge, if I remember correctly. So Blessed Sledgehammer, melee, strength ×2, minus AP4, D6 damage. Abilities, damage rolls of 1 or 2 made with this weapon count as 3 instead. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's pretty powerful. Again, really nice. Okay, so many nice buffs here, everybody, for all armies. It's really good to see they spread the love. The Divulgence Brood Sword. So this affects the Acolyte Icon Wards, Nephalite Hybrids, Acolyte Hybrids, Goliath Trucks, Deliverance Bruces. So 1 command point. Use this stratagem at the start of your fight phase. Pick a Deliverance Brood Surge from the unit in the army that made a charge move this turn. Add 1 to the wound rolls for attacks made by that unit until the end of the phase. Nice. Reckless Manduva. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Pick a Deliverance Brood Swords Goliath Truck unit from your army. Deliverance Brood Swords units embark within the Goliath Truck can immediately disembark if they did not embark within this turn. If enemy units do so, roll a d6 for each model disembarking. For each one model that disembarked, your choice is in slain. Models in disembark this manner must be set up more than 9 away from... Okay, it's pretty cool. Angor of the Insurgent. You can re-roll advanced rolls and charge rolls for friendly Deliverance Brood Surge units if they were within 6 of the Warlord when the roll is made. Okay, that's nice. So it's basically just adding the re-roll. The Relic... A Sacred Relic of the Cult. Add 1 to the leadership characteristics of friendly Genestealer Cults units within 6 of the bearer. In addition, once per battle at the start of the fight phase, you could pick a Genestealer Cult infantry model from your army within 3 of the bearer. Add 2 to that model's attack strength characteristics until the end of the phase. Wow, that's pretty good. So pair out with the hammers. Okay, cool. So... Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. Alright, Windrider Host. Windrider Host. So, use a stratagem when choosing your army. Pick a craft world detachment from your army to be Windrider Host. Affects Atrox Skyriders, Farseer Skyrunners, Warlock Skyrunners, Warlock Siderunners, Windriders Vipers, Windriders Hosts. Okay, Nimble Escape. Use a stratagem in the fight phase after Windrider Host unit from your army has fought. Use that unit can immediately make a move and advance as if it were your movement phase. If there are any enemy units with you one, you can fall back instead. Pretty good. Use a stratagem at the start of the shooting. This is Tempest of the Blades. Use this stratagem at the start of the shooting phase. Pick a Windrider Host Farseer Sunrider Skyrider unit from your army. Improve the armor penetration characteristics of shooting attacks made by the friendly Windrider Host units within 6 of the unit you picked by 1 until the end of the phase. Except AP -1 would become AP -2. Freaking powerful. Anything that affects AP weaponry is huge. Okay. Absolutely huge. We've got the Warlord trait. Units within 6 of your Warlord can charge even if they fell back. Remnant of Glory. Alright, you basically model with Witchblade only. The Howling Sky Sword of Galanath replaces the Bearer's Witchblade and has the following profile. Alright, melee user strength -3 damage. So it's 3 damage, and this weapon always wounds on the roll of a 2-up. That's pretty big. That's mad. So 2-up wounds, 3 damage, pop. Put it on a Eldar unit with a lot of attacks, guys, and that's going to rip it. Wraith Host, okay, affects Spirit Seers, Wraith Constructs, Wraith Host keywords. Wraith of the Dead, use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Pick a Wraith Host, Wraith Construct unit from your army. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic for models in that unit until the end of the phase. Pretty good. Spirit Shield, 2 command points. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Pick a Wraith Host, Wraith Construct unit from your army that is within 6 of a friendly Wraith Host Spirit Seer until the start of your next turn. That unit gains a 4-up invul save, but the Spirit Seer loses the 4-up invul save granted by its Ruin Armor. Alright, yeah, okay, it's pretty alright. So, Warlord trait, reroll charge rolls of friendly Wraith Host, Wraith Construct whilst they're in 6 of your Warlord. Not bad. Ruin of Battle. Okay. Twilight Gloom. This is a Twilight Gloom. Twilight Gloom has a walk charge value of 6. If manifested, pick a friendly Wraith Host unit within 18 of the Psyker until the start of your next turn. That unit receives the benefit to the saving throws for being in cover, even while they are not wholly within a terrain feature. Remnant of Glory, Warp Spawn Bane. Model with the staff only. Warp Spawn Bane replaces the Bearer's Witch Staff and has the following profile: melee damage 2. It will be in the abilities here. This will be where it's at. This weapon always wounds on a roll of a 2-up. In addition, that's the key right there. In addition, ignore invulnerable saves for attacks made by this weapon targeted by Psykers and Demons. Whoa! Holy crap! That's massive. That's almost like auto kill. Alright. Okay, so now I believe this is Astra Militarum now. IG Imperial Guard. Literally. It's like EG Imperial Guard. Okay. So, Specialist Detachments. Okay. Astra Militarum units affecting company commanders, platoon commanders, command squads, special weapons squads, veterans, infantry squads, chimeras, Teroxes, and Emperor's with Emperor's Blade keywords. The Warlord trait, you could give them the following Warlord traits. So, officer from your army with the voice of command ability only. Your Warlord can issue orders whilst embarked within an Emperor's Blade Chimera or Emperor's Blade Taurox, measuring ranges from any point of the vehicle, and is treated as being within 3 of the Voxcaster. When doing so, these orders can only be issued to friendly Emperor's Blade units. Okay, really cool. Heirloom of the Conquest, the Shield of the Mort World. The bearer has a 3+ invul, which cannot be rerolled for any reason. The first time this invul save is failed, the Shield of Mort World ceases to function for the rest of the battle. That kind of bites, but okay, whatever. Mechanized fire support. So this is where I reckon it's going to be like awesome. Use this stratagem in the Emperor's charge phase, enemy's charge phase. After Emperor's Blade infantry from your unit, the army has chosen target. Pick an Emperor's Blade Chimera or Emperor's Blade Taurox from your army within 6 of the unit being charged. The vehicle picked can fire Overwatch at the charging unit, even if it is not the target charge. Then when doing so, it will hit on 4s. Wow. So you're Overwatching on 4s. Wow. Geez, you just do not want to charge that. Cool. Rapid redeploy. Use the stratagem at the end of your movement phase. An Emperor's Blade unit embarked within an Emperor's Blade Chimera or Emperor's Blade Taurox can disembark. That unit cannot move further in this phase, but can otherwise act normally for the rest of the turn. That unit counts as having moved for any rules purposes, such as shooting heavy weapons. Fair enough. It's pretty good. Emperor's Wrath Artillery Company. Oh man, there's a lot. Emperor's Wrath. So this affects Astra Militarum, company commanders, masters of ordnance, basilics, hydras, wyrms, Emperor's Wrath keyword. Okay, so suppressive fire. Use a stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick an Emperor's Wrath vehicle unit from the army. That unit cannot shoot this phase. Instead, it lays down suppressive fire. Pick an enemy infantry unit within the range of this one. Okay, and it has it cannot fire Overwatch. So until the start of your next turn, the enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch against it. That's massive. 2 command points. Pounding Barrage. So this is either going to be really good or really crap. Use a stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick an Emperor's Wrath vehicle unit from the army. Pick one of the unit's ranged weapons. That unit can shoot twice with a weapon in this phase. It's really good. Warlord trait, Lord of Ordnance. Each time you roll, wound roll of a 6 for attacks made by a friendly Emperor's Wraith unit while they are within 6 of your Warlord in the shooting phase. The armor penetrating characteristic of the attack is improved by 1, i.e. AP 0 becomes minus AP 1, AP minus 1 becomes AP minus 2, etc. It's pretty good. Heirloom of Conquest. This is a relic. In your shooting phase, pick an Emperor's Wrath unit from your army within 6 of the bearer until the end of the phase. Enemy units do not receive the benefit of cover. Alright, so that's really good. We got the Emperor's Conclave here. Alright, so this affects Astra Militarum, company commanders, platoon commanders, command squads, infantry squads, conscripts, Ministerial priests, Crusaders, Emperor's Conclave with the Emperor's Conclave keyword, 1 command point. Stratagems, 2 command point. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Pick the Emperor's Conclave unit from your army unit until the end of the phase. When a model from this unit is slain, that model is not removed from the battlefield as normal, but can instead immediately pile in and fight, even if it has already been chosen to fight the first phase. After the attacks have been resolved, it is then removed from the battlefield. Did I see Ogrins there? No, but Crusaders. They're pretty brutal and they're cheap as anything. 1 command point. I've actually been thinking about putting these guys in my army. Use a stratagem. This is Sanctominous Charge. Use a stratagem after the Emperor's Conclave Ministerial Priest makes a charge move. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the charge rolls for other friendly Emperor's Conclave units while they were in 12 of the Ministerial Priest. Warlord trait, Fire Any Denouncer. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for your Warlord within 6 within the fight phase. Heirloom of Conquests. If a friendly Emperor's Conclave unit within 6 of bearer takes a morale test, roll 2d6, use the lowest result to determine the outcomes of morale test. In addition, if the bearer is slain before removing the model from the battlefield, pick another friendly Emperor's Conclave unit within 6 of the bearer. For the rest of the battle, that unit does not have to make morale tests and can add 1 to its attack's characteristics. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, we're up to the orcs soon, so we're getting there. Alright, wonderful. So, Emperor's Fist Tank Company. Okay, effects Astra Militarum, Leman Russ, Emperor's Fist. Keywords. Unyielding Advance. Use a stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Pick an Emperor's Fist unit from your army. That unit can shoot its turret weapon twice as described in Grinding Advanced ability, no matter how far it has moved the preceding movement phase. Pretty cool. Steel Phalanx. This stratagem at the start of your charge phase. So use this stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Pick an enemy unit each time the Emperor's Fist unit from your army finishes a charge move of 1. That enemy unit... sorry guys. Charge roll within 1 of that enemy unit. Roll a d6 on a 4-up. That enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Okay, so charge in mortal wounds. Warlord trait. Reroll hits when your Warlord and friendly Emperor's Fist units within 6 of your Warlord fight Overwatch. Nice. So you're essentially re-rolling. Yeah, re-rolling Overwatch. Their relic models with the battle cannon only. Hammer of Sunderance replaces the bearer's battle cannon and has the following ability. Range 72, which is pretty much stock standard, I think, for battle cannons. Heavy D6, strength 8, AP minus 2, 3 damage. Pretty big buff. Alright, Tempestus Drop Force. This is for your what do you call it? Your hotshot dudes, your scions. Specialist Attachment covers Militarum, Tempestus, Tempestus Primes, Tempestus Scions, Tempestus Command Squads, Valkyries. Oh, Valkyries, that's interesting. Have the flyer in there. Tempestus Drop Force keywords. Warlord traits. Add 1 to the hit rolls of attacks made by friendly Tempestus Drop Force infantry units that disembarked from a friendly Tempestus Drop Force Valkyrie unit this turn while they are in 6 of your Warlord. Relics of the Progemium. If the bearer is targeted or affected by psychic power, roll d6 on a 2+. The psychic power has no effect on the bearer. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty good stratagems there. Alright, so precision drop stratagems here. Both of these are 1 command point. Use a stratagem at the start of your movement phase. Pick a Tempestus Drop Force Valkyrie from your army. Until the end of the phase, if a model embarked within the Valkyrie, use a grav chute insertion ability to disembark. Do not roll a d6 for each model to determine if there are any slain. Instead, no models from the unit are slain by that ability. So it's basically a deployment for free card. Very handy. Next one, aerial fire support. Use this stratagem in the enemy charge phase after Tempestus drop force infantry unit from your army is chosen as the target of an enemy unit's charge. Pick a Tempestus drop force Valkyrie from your army within 6 of the unit charge. That Valkyrie can fire Overwatch at the charging unit, even if it is not the target of the charge. And when doing so, will hit the target enemy on hit rolls of 4 up regardless of the modifiers. Okay, it's really nice. Alright, cool. On the home stretch now. Alright, just 4 more to go. Alright, I'm just going to take a quick sip of this water here, guys, because this is pretty brutal. Alright, but we're getting through it. And I dare say it's probably going to take a whole night to render out, but whatever. Okay. Stomper Mob. In your army battle, so basically this covers orcs, stompers, stomper mobs, character keywords. Okay. Warlord trait. Gorks 1, add 1 to the hit rolls of wound rolls for attacks made by a Warlord at the fight phase. So Gorks 1, Morks 1, add 1 to the wound rolls of shooting attacks made by the Warlord. Okay, that's pretty good. Shiny Gibblers, affects Stomper mob characters. True to Stomper power field, the bearer has a +5 invulnerable save. That's pretty huge. Stomp, these are stratagems, 1 command point. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Pick a Stomper mob unit from that army who is in 1 of any enemy units. Roll a d6 for each enemy model within 3 of that unit. On a 6 up, that model suffers 1 mortal wound. Nice. Stomper Porter, 4 command points. This one better be big. Use a stratagem during deployment. You could set up a Stomper mob unit from your army on a teleporter pad instead of placing it on the battlefield. Units in the teleporter pad can teleport into battle at the end of your movement phases. Set them up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 away from any models. Okay, so you're essentially deep striking a Stomper. Alright, Cult of Speed. If your army is Battleforged, you can use a specialist attachment stratagem below. Cult of Speed. Use a strategy when choosing your army. Pick 1 orc detachment for your army. Cult of Speed specialists, Speed Freaks. Okay, Cult of Speed. Stratagem Turbo boosters this stratagem. Starting unit says pick a Cult of Speed unit from your army. If that unit advances this phase, double that unit's move characteristics instead of rolling a dice. Auto advance, auto move up the table. That's massive. I don't have to be an orc player to tell that's massive. Charge through them. 2 command points. Use this stratagem before a Cult of Speed unit from your army makes a consolidation move. That unit consolidates d6 instead of 3. Pretty nice. Warlord traits, quick lads, friendly Cult of Speed units within 12 of your Warlord of the morale phase automatically pass morale tests as they advance at the same turn. Nice. Shiny Gibbards, character, Cult of Speed, Death Killer, War Trike only. Add 1 to the bearer's toughness characteristic. In addition, the bearer gains a +5 invulnerable save. Very nice. Seems to be a lot of invols going on with orcs here, making them a lot more durable, which is pretty scary considering they've got the numbers. And you start adding like invols onto the orcs here, and they just become like 3 times more powerful. Because you got to remember when you're rolling reroll, when you're rolling invols and you're rolling invols on like multiple units where there's many of them, you've got more chance of popping them off. So anyway. Again, orc players, let me know in the comments down below some of what you're thinking. I'm not an orc player. I don't presume to be. I'm just reading these rules out, okay? Like, I'm not really delivering any tactics. I know I'm not really doing that, but I'm not an orc player, so, okay, cool. So, specialist attachment. This is Dread War. This applies to Big Mechs, Gorkanauts, Morkanauts, Death Dreads, Killer Cans, Dread War. So it's like the Dreadnoughts of the Orcs. Warlord trait model, which is Dread Mech, model with the Big Mech ability only. When your Warlord uses his Big Mech ability to repair a Dread War unit, add 1 to the number of wounds regained. Very handy. Stratagems, 2 command points, custom ammo. Use a strategy in your shooting phase. Pick a Dread War unit from your army. That unit can shoot twice this shooting phase with all of its ranged weapons. My goodness, that's scary. Mech Connections. Use this one command point. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Pick a Dread War unit from your army that is within one of a mech workshop. If you use the custom job ability to give that unit a custom job, it receives something extra special, okay, on a 4+ instead of a 6+. It must be a... Oh, yeah, that's that... Yeah, okay, that's that orc random sort of rule there. Okay, cool. The relic is this thing, which is the souped up shocker. Range 6, it replaces a shock attack gun. Range 60, heavy D6, 2d6 strength, which is quite random. Minus AP 5, D6 damage, okay. Abilities: before firing with weapon, roll once to determine the strength of all its shots. If the result is 11+, each successful hit inflicts D3 mortal wounds to the target in addition to any normal damage. Holy crap, that is devastating. That is like Shadow Sword level devastating. However, it is very random. So you could, you know, if you have a bad roll, you know, you could be in for a long one. Alright, so, alright. Last one, everybody, thank goodness. Okay, so we've got the Blitz Brigade. So Specialist Detachment, if your army's Battleforged, you basically, if you're an orc, War Boss, Battle Wagon, Gun Wagon, Bone Dracker, Blitz Brigade, keywords. Any of these, your Warlord trait would be the Backseat Driver. That's pretty cool. While your Warlord is embarked within a Blitz Brigade transport, add 1 to the transport move characteristics. In addition, while your Warlord is embarked within, that transport gains Here We Go ability. Okay, pretty cool. Shiny Gibbons. This is your... it's a relic. Sorry, guys. Lost me there. At the start of your shooting phase, if the bearer is embarked within a Blitz Brigade battle wagon, pick an enemy unit that is visible to the battle wagon until the end of the phase. Reroll hit rolls of 1 attacks made by this friendly Blitz Brigade unit within 6. The battle wagon that... the Brigade is 6 of the battle wagon that target the enemy unit you picked. So let me read it again. It didn't quite make sense to me. At the start of your shooting phase, if the bearer is embarked within a Blitz Brigade battle wagon, pick an enemy unit that is visible to the battle wagon. Right, got it. Until the end of the phase, reroll hit rolls of a 1 for attacks made by... Okay, yep. So it's basically a reroll roll 1 order. Okay. Stratagems. 1 command point. Opening salvo. This stratagem in your shooting phase of the first battle round. Pick a Blitz Battle Brigade gun wagon from your army. Double the range characteristics of the unit's weapons until the end of the phase. Very handy. Shoot them from across the table, especially if you're running around like you're a speed freak. You're doing wheelies on their head. Crush them. Use a stratagem on the fight phase with Blitz Brigade Bonebreaker. From your army is chosen to fight. Reroll 3d6 for the Bonebreaker Ram ability and choose the highest result. Very nice, allowing you to reroll there on that. 2 command points. Hold on, boys. This stratagem during your movement phase... Sorry, use this stratagem during your movement phase before you move. Clan, Blitz Brigade, Battle Wagon from your army. Pick a friendly clan infantry unit within 3 of that model and remove it from the battlefield. After the Battle Wagon has moved, set the clan infantry unit up on the battlefield wholly within 3 of the battle wagon and more than 3 from the enemy models. Note that this infantry unit is not embarked within the battle wagon and therefore does not count towards the number of models it can transport. That infantry unit cannot move further this phase but counts as having moved this turn for all rules purposes. So it's a bit of a like a teleport shunt there, I think, what's going on. Okay, so we finally did it. We got through all of it. Guys, you know, if you've enjoyed what you see here, please consider subscribing to the channel. We post Warhammer content regularly, and click the little bell notification if you can, if you liked it. If you didn't like it, well, thanks for watching anyway, and all good. Guys, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna give a quick overview. I'm not gonna wrap that up right there. I'm gonna just talk a little bit about. I mean, I've gone for this long. I may as well go for another freaking 10 minutes or so. All right. So generally speaking, from what I can tell from these rules, everybody's got quite a bit of a pickup. I am noticing more love towards the Primaris Space Marines than anybody else. I think a lot of those, you know, mortal wounds and auto hitting within half range, and you know, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's pretty powerful. And also, you know, I think that everybody got a good round though. Gene Stealer Colts, they got it a little bit. Orcs, I think, like that sort of shotgun thing, that was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. But I think, you know, the stuff in there is not quite so powerful as some of the other faction stuff. Wasn't too big on the Space Wolf stuff. It was okay, but I felt they needed something to do with Terminators. I felt they needed something there, like, you know, something to get their Terminators rocking a little bit more. You know, I get selling the Reavers off. You know, it's very fluffy, but at the same point, I don't know, I'm not big on the Reavers. It's kind of like I'm not sure what to make of them. They're not Marines. They're not Scouts. They kind of seem a little bit pointless to me. Especially, like, I get their grav shoot stuff, but coming down on turn 2, kind of like what for? Yeah, I mean, the models can look cool with the face masks, but I mean, I guess really that's the whole point. Yeah, so pretty much Eldar was pretty good. They got a nice little buff too. There was no Tower stuff in here, no Blood Angels. I believe that will come in another book, personally. No Tyrannid stuff. Again, that'll come in another book. I think the Blood Angels and the Tyrannid stuff will come in another book. There'll be a mortal enemy sort of thing going on there. And, you know, but yeah, Orcs, you know, everyone got it a little bit. You got to remember, though, I think Orcs will let down a little bit, except for that shotgun. But you got to remember, the Orcs Codex has just come out again. And, you know, they were already pretty powerful, you know, and then they got the Codex, and so I think they're doing okay. I don't really think they needed, like, too much of a buff, but they definitely got some stuff. Increasing their range, increasing their invols, making their armies more durable, especially with their numbers. It's pretty lethal. But then again, you know, you've got all that stuff going on, and then you've got these Intercessors coming out, rolling out like mortal wounds everywhere. It's going to be very interesting. So, all right, everybody, that's my post-mortem of it. I hope you've enjoyed the rules overview for the Specialist Detachments for Vigilus. Warhammer 40k 8th edition, 2018, what's left of it. And yeah, check out some of the other videos on the channel. Please consider subscribing. And I will catch you in the next video for the Emperor.